Hello artists! Last time I showed you how to make objects look like they were blowing in the wind. And today we're going to continue with that idea of adding movement to our picture. And I'm going to use a line to do that. So what you need is something to draw with and a piece of paper. All right, let's get started. All right, so I've got my piece of paper here. It doesn't have to be a very large one. I'm going to just use a black crayon to start. You could use a colored pencil as well. Or even a regular pencil would work great for this. What I'm going to do is create something called a silhouette. And a silhouette is an object that is all in shadow, which means it's all colored in. And that's why I'm using a black crayon. Now I want you to choose an object that you can draw that would also soar through the air or fly through the air. Now, of course, a rocket, an airplane, a butterfly, a bird would all be great examples of objects that could fly through the air. What we're trying to do today is to create a picture that has movement. So choose an object that could move through the air, and then what you're going to do is draw it up in the top corner. And I don't care if it's the left corner or the right corner. Choose one of your corners, and what you're going to do is draw it. So I'm going to draw, I think, an airplane today. So I'm going to draw, you can look up pictures of objects probably to see some ideas of things that you can do. I'm just going to draw the outlines of my plane first. Draw the wings kind of going out on each side. Try to get them kind of the same. And then usually it has some tail. Has like a tail on the end. All right, so there's, maybe you even want to show the little jets coming out the end on the wings. Now, you can't just leave it an outline for a silhouette. What you have to do is color that in. So if you're using a crayon, color it in with your crayon. If you're using a colored pencil, color it in with your colored pencil. Don't use a Crayola marker for this part. If you decide later you want to get your paper wet. And if you're not sure what I mean, I am going to use my marker painting kind of idea to add some color if you want to do that. Now, if you don't have colored drawing supplies at home, you can leave things just black and white. That's fine with me. So I'm going to color this in nice and dark. Try not to leave any open spots and not to scribble, because if you scribble it, people aren't going to know what your object is because it will be too messy. And all right, so I've got it pointing up going this way. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that same drawing material, whatever you happen to be using, and I'm going to draw some lines coming from the back of my airplane. But you know, this is art class, so I don't want to just make them all the same. I'm going to try to use a variety of lines. So maybe your first one, you want to do a diagonal, straight line. Maybe you would like to do a broken line. Think about the different kinds of lines and try to make each one a little bit different. Maybe on this one, I'm going to do a zigzag. And maybe I'll do a looping line. It's okay if your lines end up crossing over each other too. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I'd like to try to do 6, but that you can also do more than that. You can really just kind of start making up lines too. Sometimes what I'll do is I will create a line out of objects, for example, or other little designs. Maybe right in here, I'm going to start down here at the bottom and go up towards my, this one I'll do little stars, but if I put them all in a row, it implies a line. I'm just going to keep going all the way up. Oops, forgot to cross that one until I get up here. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see, one more line. Let's go like this. Make some lines going the other way, but if you put them all like little tally marks in a row, that will look really cool. All right, so you can be creative. You will feel if you're having a lot of fun making lines, go ahead and keep creating those. Let me show you a little trick to add some color to your picture. You could, if you're doing it just like this one, you could take a crayon or a colored pencil and just color around and near your line, just to kind of add a little pizzazz, a little more life to your picture. The other option is, and this is the one I'm going to show, is to take your crayon or your marker, if you have a Crayola or other water-based marker, and you draw a line that matches it right next to the crayon line or the pencil line. You can draw right on top of it or just right next to it, but it should kind of match it. My markers keep rolling. And it doesn't matter to me what order you do them in. I like to use lots of different colors. Now, if you only want to use a couple different colors, that's completely up to you. Now, this looks cool just like this, but if you want to do a little bit more, if you want it to look a little more painterly, I'll show you a little trick as soon as I get these. I think this would be a really neat one to do with the one more. Let's put the blue one over here. And it's okay if it doesn't match it perfectly, as long as you're close. Okay, so now I'm going to take a little bit of water. I just have a little, I don't even have it very much. Now, if you want, you can use a paintbrush, but I found actually what worked better for me, or you could use it, cotton swab, like a Q-tip. What worked better for me is if I took my finger and just use my finger. And of course, if it runs out, I just touch the water again. Sometimes on the loopy line, I have to do it a couple of times. The idea is not to get too much water on there. All right, rinse off your finger. For this straight one, I'm just going to go right down. I think I'll do the orange one next. Maybe I'll just go straight that way too. It's okay if your colors kind of mix together. Maybe these I'll just kind of rub across the whole thing. Yep, I got a little red into my yellow, but I don't mind. That looks kind of cool. And I'll do my green. Up here where the lines are really close together, they do mix together. That's okay. And then my purple. Now, if at this point you decide, oh, I'd love doing this and I'd love to add some more lines to my picture, you'll have to wait for this to dry. Because otherwise it'll make it'll probably smear your colors. You probably have, if you used your finger like me, will have a little ink on your finger for a while, but by tomorrow, I'm sure it'll be gone if you wash your hands frequently. All right, I hope you've had fun. I can't wait to see what you've done. Remember, you don't have to copy my lines or my designs exactly. You can make up. This one I did a rocket, this one I did a bird, this one I did an airplane. You can change this if you want to draw something different. Just be careful, it only should take up a little bit in the corner. And that way you have plenty of room for your lines going in here. Let this dry and then take a picture of it, put it on Seesaw, of course, and then I'd love to see a picture of it on Artsonia as well. All right, stay creative. Until next time, bye.